bang, bang, 2 threes. He was on the money.
Yeah, if it was a 100-meter sprint, then Ricky got on the blocks more than anyone else. The only really sort of avenue they had for offense early was Charles Thompson inside. That is a rare piece of footage there. A 3-pointer in the first half for the Leicester runners. Well, 1 for 13 at halftime, Dan. They really struggled.
They really did. It actually got even worse at the beginning of the third quarter. They couldn't make a free throw either, and Sheffield pushed that lead out to 20. And at that point, it looked like they were going to get the tie done in the first leg. But Leicester, some resilience in that third quarter to cut it back down to 4 later on.
Some really good resolve there shown by the Leicester Riders. You say, Dan, this could have very easily been a 20-point game. And that's credit to the Sheffield Sharks as well. I thought they were excellent. They were about one of their key players as well, and they did a really good job of distributing the basketball, getting good shots. Yes, they were led by Ricky McGill, but they had performances from elsewhere.
Particularly Michael Cherobia, who obviously had to fill in for Donovan Clay, who was out with that ankle injury. He played really well. They covered that absentee pretty well, Sheffield.
He did, and Michael Cherobia is someone with top-flight British basketball experience, so he was, I think, a really good performance from him. Very different player to Donovan Clay, but he was able to hold the fort down in the middle of the paint.
But it ultimately came down to a sensational performance from Ricky McGill. Back-to-back 30-plus games in the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. An incredible array of offense. Leicester had no way of slowing him down at all, and he was the key piece in ensuring that this was a 10-point lead for Sheffield Sharks. Well, before the game, I caught up with their head coach, Atiba Lyons, to see how he's feeling with that 10-point cushion. Well, Atiba, 10-point win in that first leg. What pleased you most about the performance?
I thought we came up with some great intensity, but offensively we had a good flow to the offense, and defensively did some solid things. Wasn't perfect, but it was a good effort.
And no Donovan Clay as well. Some big minutes from Michael Cherobia and some others filling in those gaps.
Yeah, he did a great job. Donovan's game to game, so Mike's done a great job of just coming and being an anchor for us, and he knows what to do in the league. He's got experience, so he's been great all season.
And these two teams have had a lot of playoff battles down the years. You'll know that this one's not done yet.
No, absolutely not. Rob knows how to get these guys going. I'm sure he'll have some different looks for us, and he'll come at us defensively in different ways. So we've got to come out and play well.
And Ricky McGill, back-to-back 30-point games. That's not happened for 15, 17 years or something. He's in tremendous form.
Yeah, he's he's playing great basketball. Got a good pace to his game right now. He's playing confidently, and the guys are just riding that wave.
And the most important thing for you to do to be celebrating at the end of today?
Most important thing for us to do? Got to take care of the ball, make sure we get shots every possession, and do a good job keeping them off the glass tonight.
Good luck in the game. Well, we've talked about it already, Anne, but it bears repeating how sensational Ricky McGill has been in these playoffs. 32 on Friday, 30 in the game before that in the previous round.
And let's not remember, he was a late addition to this Sharks squad. He came in the springtime there, his 16.4 points per game, but 6 assists for him as well. So it's not just the scoring he brings, it's the overall offense. He's so impactful. He's a proven player as well, having played previously for the Plymouth Raiders and Newcastle Eagles, and I think his experience there is a difference maker. In game 1, as you say, Dan, massive 32 points there, but he was a guy that's unfazed by the poor shooting percentages. 5 for 9 for the 3-point.
Well, I caught up with Rob Paternoster as well to see how he's feeling ahead of this game. Well, Rob, 10-point deficit coming in. At one point in the third quarter, it was 20. At one point, it was 4. Where do you see it right now?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I thought that late play that we made in the third quarter really cost us. We fouled 40 feet from the basket. We gave him 4 points after coming all the way back. So it is what it is. We know we're down 10, but we're going to go for it today. I think that we had a good practice yesterday. We watched the video back. We got to play better on both ends of the floor, and we got to let it go today. There's no tomorrow. We got to go for it.
And watching that video back, you will have been disappointed with the 3-point shooting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you shoot that low of a percentage, especially in the first half, you really dig yourself a hole. We know we got really good shooters. The message to them was continue to let it fly. We got good looks. We feel confident in our players. And, today go out there and play with the freedom.
And there's been some unbelievable playoff battles between you and Sheffield over the years. You've been part of most of them, so you'll know there's still a lot to go here.
There's a lot to go, yeah. Pressure on them. They got a really good team, though. We know that. They're loaded deep. But, you know, we've seen it happen before, and I think that for us, it's all about just going out there and playing as hard as we can and believing that we can get it done. It's going to be a real challenge. We're going to need our fans in here to give us a boost. But I told the guys yesterday before we left, go for it today.
Good luck in the game.
Thank you.
Well, one of the reasons it's only 10 was Zach Jackson. He scored the last 5 points of the game. It was 15 before that intervention, but some other big plays as well down the stretch.
Yeah, he's been their star all year, Daniel. 17.7 points per game. He's been their player down the stretch to make big plays. SLB Team of the Year as well, and an MVP candidate. This is his third season in the Riders jersey, so he would have been part of some of those previous battles with the Sheffield Sharks. But I thought, in particular in game one, his maturity and experience really showed. He started the game at difficulties like his teammate, but he was able to make some big plays in the second half. They're going to need him to have a big day here for them to advance to the O2 Arena.
Well, they certainly do. They need just about everything to go right here, the Leicester Riders, if they are to overturn this deficit. Let's have a look at the lineups for today's game, starting with the Be-Brawn Sheffield Sharks. Donovan Clay is dressed. He hasn't warmed up like a guy who's going to play today, but he is dressed and eligible to play. But it means Mike Ocharobia stays in the starting five.
Yeah, they're going to have a little bit of a different dynamic here, but as you say, Mark Ocharobia will start there. But you've got someone like Jacob Groves who can also stretch the floor, meaning that there's no your traditional centre, but that makes him very dangerous offensively.
Well, Rob Paternostro was coach of the month for April in Super League basketball. They just presented him with his golden basketball. I know he wouldn't like the distraction ahead of a game like this, but you've got to pose for the pictures. Here's Leicester's team lineup, and we know what we're going to see today. We're going to see a lot of these starting fives with a splash of Ethan Wright and Duke Shelton along the way.
And that's exactly it, Dan. You know, we've seen this all year. But Coach Paternostro said this pre-game, his team have to be better on both ends of the floor, and that's a very simple message there. He wants them to play freely. He wants them to play with no fear, and that's what didn't happen in game one. Can this five and the supporting cast have a different approach to this game?
Well, we touched on it, then some amazing battles between these two teams in the playoffs over the years. They've twice met in a final, they've won one each. They've met 8 times in a quarterfinal, they've won 4 each. This is their first ever semi-final meeting in the playoffs. There was a classic one in 2009, Brad Wisbicki with a 3 on the buzzer basically to see Leicester win 72-71. I'm going to give you a word association now. And Nick Lewis, you remember that one?
I do, 2013 trophy final. Yeah.
No.
Oh no, sorry, that was the
playoff game.
Yeah,
Nick Lewis,
yeah.
Leicester had actually lost the first leg in Sheffield by 11, so one more than today. They got it down. They were up 13 at the end of the game, and Nick Lewis forced it into overtime, and Leicester went on to win the game, but not by enough.
It's been a lot of battles over the years now. They're merged into one now.
Here we go then. Sheffield looking to make it to the O2 for the first time since they beat Leicester in the playoff final in 2016. Leicester have been to 6 of the last 8 playoff finals, trying to keep that streak alive, but must win by 10, and it is the men in black from Leicester who will get the opening possession of the ball game. Here's Hunter. Out to Abercrombie. Oh, his pass isn't a good one, and it ricochets out off Abercrombie, who's in the All-British team, and out of bounds for a Sheffield ball.
Wow, a bit of an error stricken there. Riley Abercrombie is someone who's really going to want to rectify game one. Really difficult shooting night for him, 1 for 11, but his decision making wasn't quite on par with his usual self.
Jackson steals the ball back for Leicester.
Wow, that's the way to respond, isn't it? Automatically get someone else to commit another turnover.
Another turnover. Ocharobia knocking it loose, and Nixon will get the first points of the game.
Wow, both teams there already made errors on 2 of their offenses, but no errors were made there by Prentice Nixon, who lays that one back. Of course, anyone who was at the playoff last year between these two clubs will know the power of Prentice Nixon.
Off the mark from Johnson. Nixon hit the game winner here. That is actually the only playoff game that Sheffield have won away to Leicester. Leicester are 5-1 on their own home court against Sheffield in the playoffs, apart from their one last year where Prince Nixon won the game for them. And of course, Leicester had won the first leg. It was a best of 3 at that point. Well, there's going to be an early substitution with Ucharovia picking up that foul a minute into the game. Atiba Lyons not wanting to take any risk with his big man, and it's going to go small with Retino instead.
I was going to say you did the plural, but it's a singular, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mike Ucharovia, really the only true 5. But what they've got now, Sheffield Sharks, is Jacob Groves will play on offense. He'll play the 5-man, so he'll stretch the floor. Defensively, it looks like they've got Retino guarding Charles Thompson down low, so big size difference there.
All right, they go straight to Thompson, who hammers it down.
Well, that's where I would have went down, as Charles Thompson delivers with a thunderous dunk there to start proceedings.
Here's McGill, out to Groves. Nixon, deep 3, off the mark, but Groves is underneath for the rebound, and his rebounding will be key with this line.
Well, even when Mike Ucharovia gone, they don't give up a lot of size on them, because Jacob Groves still 6'9", long player.
Johnson in the key.
He's an interesting one, Spencer Johnson. He has grown in confidence as the season has got to playoff basketball, so they're going to need him to also be a contributor here on the offensive end.
Groves driving hard, blocked by Abercrombie. It's still in Sheffield's possession, though. Nixon over to Anderson, the former Leicester player, lines up a 3. There's Groves again on the offensive line, putting it back.
Wow, already Jacob Groves making his mark on this game, and those second chance opportunities so important for Sheffield Sharks, who are looking to preserve a lead.
Well, I was talking to Rob Paternoster before the game. He was really high on Jacob Groves and how good he is. And what about Thompson again? Another gem.
Wow, Sheffield Sharks are going to have to adjust to that, leaving Retino on an island. Yes, Retino's an excellent defender, more of an on-board defender and help defender, but to leave him by himself with Charles Thompson, this is too much size and strength there that Charles Thompson has over Jordan Retino.
Well, he's certainly got the early touches, and he's been rocking the rim as a result of it. Anderson, oh, he's turned it over, has he, McGill? It's into the backcourt. It came off a Sheffield player last, so it will be a Leicester possession.
Really good defense there. And you see Charles Thompson getting energized by that defensive team of the year. Charles Thompson, you see him stay up on this screen here. Big men, and it's Spencer Johnson, excuse me, in the mix there, creating that turnover.
Ball is in the front court, so it's not an easy place to get it to Hunter, although it is to him. And they've got Anderson now guarding Thompson, and Anderson commits the foul with the hold.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a number of different things. I think once Mike Ucharovia is out of the game, he's the only one really that can have single coverage on Charles Thompson. Charles Thompson's going to have to go fast, though, just because the double team will come eventually from Sheffield Sharks.
Abercrombie back to Johnson. Well, Nixon is now guarding Thompson. They've recovered. Here's Johnson for 3, and Leicester couldn't buy one in the first half. Knocked down their first 3 of this game.
Well, he was the only one that was able to convert a 3 in the first half, and Spencer Johnson already getting one to go.
Good challenge by Leicester at the rim, coming back the other way. Hunter stuttering his way through the line, lays it in.
Great take there from Jalen Hunter. I think he's someone that needs to be aggressive early. He's someone who's had so much success this year in getting his teammates involved, averaging 7 assists per game, leading all league.
Sorry. Oh, they just turned over. I was about to say they almost turned it over. Jackson has stolen it. Jackson runs it back, lays it in. And Sheffield will carry on playing. Just quickly look at Atiba Lyons. Looked like he was about to call a timeout, and thought he'd let it go one more play. McGill with the mid-range, 2 diving out at him. Thompson with the rebound. Hunter Groves trying to knock the ball loose. He's kept it though. The Leicester guard. Thompson inside. Trying to find room along the baseline. Spinning into trouble. Is it a travel? Yes, it is.
I don't know if he did. I think it looks a little bit unorthodox, and there's a lot of players around, but this body's bumping off each other, and you can see why the Charles Thompson. Let's see if his pivot foot has moved here. So his right foot still down, Yeah, no trouble for me.
Look like
no
a trouble, you're right. It was hard to see because of the bodies. Reese right on the halfway line, picks it up at an awkward spot. McGill, Cherobi came back into the game as well, by the way. And here he is. Underneath, oh, he's blown the layup though, gets his own rebound, knocked away, and it's thrown away.
Unbelievable presence from Charles Thompson. The energy that he has in the key.
Hunter for three, off the mark. He was trying to tie it. Atiba Lyons has booked the timeout, and he's going to still want it as his team have turned it over. And they've coughed it up a few times here, Sheffield. That's their 5th turnover of the game.
Not good decisions as well. They're the team up by 10 at the start of this game, and they're the team that seems to be chasing.
Jackson slips, gets it inside to Thompson. Thompson to the hook, cuts into a 1-point game on aggregate when a drop had drawn up an opening 5 minutes. It couldn't have been much better than this.
That's exactly it, Dan, and I really like what they've got. They've went inside to Charles Thompson. They've identified that shooting is fickle. No one shoots to miss shots. But what they've done is they've tried to exploit the interior of Sheffield Sharks. Mike Archerobia picking up that first foul has meant that he's being guarded by even lighter or smaller defenders, and Charles Thompson has took full advantage of that.
Well, Leicester have had a blistering run here to open up this 9-point lead, and well, you can't win the game in the first 5 minutes, but you can psychologically bring the fans into it. You can hear how excited this fan base is right now. And Sheffield have given up the last 11 points in a row, and that is why Leicester have got it down to 1.
No, Dan, I think psychologically this is huge. Had the game been a different, let's say it was the other way, let's just say Sheffield were up 15-6. It's psychologically, Leicester Riders are trying to chase a 20-point deficit, circa 20-point deficit, and that does take the air out of the building. It knocks your confidence as well, because you know that mountain's that little bit bigger. But when it's the other way round, it's like they've already obliterated the deficit that they were coming into within the first 5 minutes of this game. So completely different. And look, we have the pleasure to sit right here in this building, and the atmosphere, it's playoff basketball atmosphere. It's electrifying.
Sheffield having to reset and regroup. It is Ricky McGill, the talisman from leg 1, with the ball. And they're trying to get it out of his hands, and it leaves Archerobia open, and this time he lays it in.
Yeah, great finish there. And what happened is Charles Thompson stayed a little bit too long now on Ricky McGill, because they're trying to get the ball out of his hands naturally. But the good pass down low gives Mike Archerobia the advantage down low.
Right. Spinning into the key, off the mark, rebound Thompson, he puts it back.
Well, I thought Thompson's rebounding was excellent for them in game 1, and he's already matching that energy now with another putback finish.
Here's McGill. McGill trying to scoop one up off the glass, doesn't go.
The intensity already down, it's really high, and I think the question is which team can sustainably play at this level for longest.
Jackson drops it off to Thompson, yet another jam.
Wow, Charles Thompson. 10 points already.
And Leicester, for the first time today, ahead on aggregate. Groves driving in, blocked. Well, it wasn't blocked, it was a slap at the board, I think, on Thompson. Now, the interesting question is to whether it had any chance of going in, but I think for the slap at the board, that doesn't matter. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, Thompson sits down 4 of 4 for 8 points. and Duke Shelton into the game for the first time.
This is big for Duke Shelton as well. You can see the dynamic when Charles Thompson on court. What happens now on both ends of the floor when Duke Shelton's in? Really big 3 minutes here to end this quarter for Duke Shelton and the Leicester Riders.
Here's Jackson. He steps away for three. Off the mark. Shelton underneath there, but it's rebounded by McGill. Oh, slip there from Johnson. That allowed McGill an open shot, but he can't convert. And that bounces off Ocherobia and out of bounds.
Riley Abercrombie's done really well there. I think Mike Ocherobia had the offensive rebound. Had Riley Abercrombie not come over there and deflected that out of his hands, off his body.
Here's Wright. Wright going hard to the hole, lays it in for two.
Wow, good taken. Ethan Wright has been that presence for them off the bench all season long. 14 points for him in game one.
Groves drives nicely, rearranges the shot at the last minute. It falls right into his hands. There's a foul on the rebound. Couldn't see through the bodies. I think it might be right. No, 2. It's Duke Shelton's number. Rod Glasgow Jr. checking into the game for the first time. Here's another look. You can see there's a right battle between Ocherobia and Shelton just muscling him out of the way illegally. Called for the foul. Glasgow needs some help. His pass is deflected by Shelton. It's still a Sheffield ball, though. Shot clock ticking down. Remember, they only had 14 because of the offensive rebound. And a blown layup, but Reese gets his own board. Glasgow misses everything. That was a free throw line shot from 2 steps back from the free throw line.
Yeah, it's Sharks just not quite setting themselves down yet into this ball game. I mean, one of their saving graces at the moment is they are active on the glass. Jacob Groves 3 offensive rebounds already.
All right, down to Abercrombie. Nice feet, and he lays it in for 2.
Really good move there from Riley Abercrombie. Again, a player 1 for 11 last game. He's had a strong start to this one to rectify performances in game 1.
Well, this equals Leicester's biggest lead in this tie at all. They only led by 3 in the first leg. And Glasgow throws it in.
Well, his experience now showing. You see when things look a little bit chaotic, Rodney Glasgow Jr. looking to settle things down by a score.
Nice pass, but good hands from Ocherobia, but then he commits the foul, and that's going to be his second personal foul. And now there's a decision for Atiba Lyons to make. He was making 3 substitutions anyway, but this is a blow now. Ocherobia on 2 with still 11:22 to go in the first half. He is amongst the substitutes coming out.
I think it was a little harsh on Mike Ocherobia there. I think his hands were straight up there. Yes, there was some body. But Duke Shelton's the one going towards the rim there.
You're not in a defensive position. They're going to call you a foul, aren't they? Nduku into the game for the first time. Well, Leicester had a nightmare from the free throw line on Friday night. Sort of kind of missed, given the 3-point woes they suffered. But there's another miss, but they were 1 of 7 3 minutes into the second half. They ended up missing 7 in total. Only took 9 though. Groves off the glass.
So controlled, Jacob Groves, and we've seen him be absolutely deadly from beyond the perimeter. Over 40% 3-point shooter, but he also has that inside game there with he's got the skill and the accuracy to get easy plays.
Abercrombie gets it back to Wright. Wright for 3. Off the mark, rebound Shelton, he can't put it back, but Abercrombie will in the second attempt, and he's fouled from behind. It'll be an and 1 for him.
Really good energy from black jerseys there. You had Duke Shelton, Victor and Duke, and Riley Abercrombie all fighting for that board, so hungry. Leicester shot initially. Good close up from Rotino, and you see Duke Shelton missing the layup. You got Riley Abercrombie there, and wow. I mean, that was one area that I think the Lions was concerned about pre-game, and you're asking what are the two things you're going to need to do. And understandably, look after the basketball when they've had turnovers. They've got turnovers already, but the second one for him was to rebound the ball. And in game one, that was the very few categories that Riley's actually excelled in, was the rebounding. So it's either Lions want more from his team on the glass here today.
Glasgow just was a little low there, couldn't quite take that in rhythm to shoot it. He kicks out to Rotino, open for three, and Jordan Rotino knocks it down.
That's a big play, and that's one experienced player pass to the other. Jordan Rotino, how many times have we seen him make those baseline threes over the years?
Abercrombie steps back for three. Back iron, right puts it back, it just doesn't go, and that will do it for the first quarter. Well, Leicester trailed by 10 on aggregate coming into this, but we are all tied up on the overall score, 102-102 between these two teams. Leicester winning this quarter by 10 and doing exactly what they need to do. You've got to keep the scoreboard ticking. You've got to keep the other team to a low number. They've done both.
They have, and I think more importantly on the defensive end, they've just made Sharks uncomfortable. Sharks haven't been getting their usual looks there. You see by their shooting percentage is way down to what we're ordinarily seeing by the Sharks. So they've done a really good job on that end, but 27 points on the board for Leicester Riders, and they haven't really been flourishing the threes. Usually Leicester Riders have been a live by the three, die by the three type of team, just like they were in game one. But what they've got is good quality looks inside here.
Well, let's have a look back at the highlights from this opening quarter, and really you touched on the atmosphere, the intensity of it, really set out early by the aggressiveness of Leicester on defense, forcing some turnovers and eating into this lead to give the crowd something to build off.
Yeah, I mean, look, both teams have started the game with high intensity. It's just that one team have been better at it than the other. You know, we opened this game up with 3 turnovers, back-to-back offenses from, you know, the first 3 plays of the game. So that's an indication that the intensity is high. But as you say, Dan, it's been high, but it's been also created from the atmosphere in here as well. The crowd really are getting into this one. I think the 10-point lead early has helped with that as well, because it's all square, it's all even.
Well, of course, the one thing, the reality is most teams who win the first leg tend to go on to win the tie. It's one thing to get back level. We see it all the time when teams have a deficit in aggregate basketball. They manage to get back level, they get in front a little bit, but then you have to maintain that, particularly when you do it early in the game, as Leicester have done here today. You have to sustain that going on.
But you gotta, you know, Leicester Riders, you know, you can't help but feel that confidence may have been a little bit fragile here after the performance in game one, so that's got to do the world of good for their confidence. Putting 27 points on the board already in first quarter play.
Rotino looking for another 3 and splashing it again. 2 for 2 for Jordan Rotino.
Oh, that's a guy you can't leave, just because Jordan Rotino will be one of these players as well mentally that this won't faze him. He's been in so many of these battles over the years.
Right. A little stop and go along the baseline. Tried the reverse lane, didn't quite go. It ricochets to Shelton, who hammers it down.
Wow, so active on the glass. You see Zach Jackson this time just get involved there and bobble the ball, which winds up in Duke Shelton's hands with a dunk finish.
Rotino, McGill drops it off to Jeffries, who bobbles the ball, keeps it alive. Broken up by Nduku, who's trying to get the ball away. He's fouled in the process, and that'll be a Leicester possession.
Wow, the activity on the defensive end for the Leicester Riders is next level. Just a lot of little bobbles there. Everything's contested. You see the long wingspan there of Victor Nduku, the young British 22-year-old Loughborough University product, playing some meaningful minutes here for this Leicester Riders team.
Here's Hunter driving in, kicks it out. Shelton with the rebound. Jackson. Off the glass, and
it comes as well off another offensive rebound from the Leicester Riders. Duke Shelton's activity creating another offense for his team, and Zach Jackson now gets one to go for an 11-point lead.
Here's McGill driving through, gets the shot away, it does not go, but Ricky McGill, after his 30-point game, looking for his first points of the game.
Well, and that's the difference as well, already defensively for the Leicester Riders. There was a handful of plays there when initially a Sharks guard would blow by their man and there was no outside defense whatsoever. We saw last time, as soon as Ricky McGill had the defender on his hip, the defense just collapsed in and contests.
McGill on the board. He makes them both. Here's Jackson down low, spinning, up off the glass, lays it in.
Well, he gets it in there down in Torshi Row against a very good defender as well in Jamel Anderson. But Zach Jackson just so good in there.
McGill through the contact and one for Ricky McGill, and suddenly he's coming to life.
Sometimes it takes one free throw to get things going down, and that is such a difficult play. You see him get bumped left, right, but he's able to maintain his focus, and he's strong enough to finish the play. That's a scorer's move right there.
Well, he's put Sheffield back on top on aggregate. And he converts to take his personal tally to 5. Sheffield with a bit of full court pressure here. Needs to get it over just in time there. There's probably only half a second or so to spare for Leicester. Hunter for 3. He knows it's off the mark, goes chasing it. So too does Johnson, but it's Groves who comes away with it. Anderson puts it on the floor. Well, he tried to go up through the basket. Shelton with the rebound. Jackson is fouled by Nixon. He probably made the wrong decision to attack the ball, and then he was always on his heels there, Prentice Nixon.
Yeah, smart move there from Zach Jackson. Prentice Nixon's anticipation, his hands are really quick, so I think when you put the ball that close to him, his automatic response is to try and steal it.
Thompson and Abercrombie back in the game. Jeffries is going to come in for Groves, so they've gone really small now. Anderson, well, I think he's the 4 and the 5 in this lineup.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Leicester a bit discombobulated by it all by the looks of it. Gone nowhere really in this offense. Johnson airballs a 3. There's only 4 seconds here. Thompson's got to be quick, gets it away, and he airballs it as well. Oh, that totally threw Leicester off, didn't it?
It did, yeah, you're right.
McGill for 3, in and out. Thought that was in, just the way he's playing, I thought that was in.
It was a good look, and that's what you'd want, really, the catch and shoot. Ricky McGill.
Jackson, he drives, just off the mark.
But naturally, there's a bit of a lull in the game now, just because it's been such a high-intensity start.
Nice pass, Anderson. It's fouled by Abercrombie, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Well, the help was there again. Riley Abercrombie come across a little bit too aggressive.
I think Rob Paternoster was saying, make him make the layup.
Yeah.
Timeout call by Coach Rob Paternoster. His team lead 33-25 on the day. They are a couple of points behind on aggregate here at the Mattioli Arena, and this game has started just as we would have hoped, where it's really in the balance, and the Sheffield fans have come down the M1 in great number and indeed great voice, as they always do, and they're making themselves heard behind the bench. And there's, well, a couple of people that you may know from the past. Charles Smith on the left there, the old Newcastle Eagles, one of the great scorers in British basketball history, now the head coach at City of Birmingham. And on his right, Paul Douglas, Dougie, who you have to be quite old like me to remember Dougie in his playing days, but he used to play for Sunderland back in the day and Birmingham as well. He was around in the 80s and 90s, Dougie. He's also involved in the Birmingham program as well, but I bet you Charles could still go out there and give him 25 today, the way he could score.
Yeah, I believe it, Dan, and just seeing him on screen there brings back some memories. We had many battles back in the day. Not all good, Dan. No, not all good. But we were able to steal a couple trophies off Newcastle Eagles and Charles Smith, so I'll look back with some fond memories for sure.
Well, the last action before that timeout was the foul by Abercrombie on Anderson, and Anderson at the free throw line.
Sheffield Sharks did an excellent job of settling into this game. It'll be really easy, I think, to get caught up into everything here, but their composure, namely got the more experienced players, Jamal Anderson, Ricky McGill, Jordan Martino, Rodney Glasgow Jr., they've done a really good job to settle into this game and take back the lead.
4 points is their advantage on aggregate. Hunter. Lobbed inside to Thompson. Oh, and it's banged off the head there of Nixon and out of bounds. I think it was his own teammate that knocked the ball loose, but he absolutely smashed him in the face. And obviously he had that issue in the previous round against Cheshire, where he got a whack in the nose. He ended up wearing a mask, so that is not good news. He's back to his feet now.
He's the unluckiest player I've seen. He gets hit in the face and the head all the time.
Thompson to the turnaround. Tough shot. Doesn't quite get the soft bounce.
Another area as well that Sheffield Sharks have got better in his defensive rebounds. You see him good box out there. There's been no crashing the offensive glass. Last few possessions. The Sheffield Sharks did a good job of securing the defensive rebound.
Glasgow out to McGill. 4 on the shot clock here. McGill gets just enough room to get the 3 away, but it doesn't go.
Good defense there from Jalen Hunter. Ricky McGill gets so much space when he...
McGill reading the pass there and stealing it away. Nixon's going to pull up for the transition 3. That's off the iron. Leicester looking to run the other way with Thompson. Thompson slows it down. He misses. Oh, I think somebody needs just to kick it into the half court for a second. Here's Jeffries with the mid-range. He knocks it down.
Half court basketball down? What are you talking about? No, you are 100% correct. There's some organized chaos right in front of us here, but Jeffries there was able to benefit from that. A nice pull-up jump shot.
Hunter at the elbow. Hits the bottom of the net.
Jalen Hunter, such an important piece here for this Leicester Riders team. If he can be aggressive and score the basketball, this Leicester Riders team is so much more dangerous.
Foul off the ball, it's offensive. Not sure who it's on. It's either Anderson or McGill. It is Anderson who's called for the illegal screen. Jacob Groves is going to check back in. That was his second foul on Anderson. It's on the far side of the screen. Oh, he's not in a legal defensive position and he's made contact. So it's a little unlucky, but it probably is a foul. Thompson trying to find room and hooks it in.
Such a
Going to get a delay of game there for knocking the ball away as well.
Well, it's good to, must be a relief for him to get one to go as well. He had 10 early points in this game. Takes him to 12 now, and he went straight at Jamal Anderson. And I think what Charles Thompson is really good at is patience. You know, he doesn't rush things, or very rarely rushes things, and you can see here, could have took that first initial shot there, but instead pivots back around again and gets to that trusted right hand.
Anderson going underneath, misses the layup. Here's Thompson again. Long way to back down from. But back down. Oh, that's going to be a third foul on Anderson. Hands on the back. And he's now going to have, is he heading to the bench? I think he is. That is a big problem for them defensively because of the role that because he can go at anybody.
You know, agreed. And he's someone as well that very rarely gets in foul trouble.
I'm not sure about that
Yeah,
one.
I agree. It's very harsh.
It's because it's two hands instead of one. They were okay with one hand. Nixon now has got a face mask on again. It's out to Johnson. He wore that. He didn't seem terribly comfortable with it in the quarterfinal. A little step back from Johnson. Rebound by Thompson. Falls to Johnson. Knocked away by Groves. And it's going to be a foul on Groves, I think. Or is it? The referee's... Well, the referee stopped the game, but he's not made a call as yet.
Look at this. Offensive rebound. Charles Thompson just so active, so strong, but good work there from Prince Nixon to knock it out of his hands. And
it is a foul on Groves. His first. So Johnson will go to the line. Leicester struggling from the three-point line again today, and even though they're up 8.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? You know, we've seen Leicester Riders lose some big games this year. It's because they haven't shot the ball well. And I think Rob Panostra's maybe message to the team is we don't want to be that team who can only win big games when we shoot the ball well. And you can see that they're getting other looks, they're being more aggressive inside, and they're up. You know, they're up by 9 at the moment, having shooting the ball poorly, and that's a good thing.
Well, I was just wondering where you're going now. Just thinking, you're not saying that he's told them to go out and shoot threes badly, but win the game anyway. It's to prove.
But I think that he's perhaps gave the message that we don't need to shoot 35 plus threes, which they were close to game 1, wasn't it? 7 for 32 or whatever it was.
Nixon off the mark, rebound for Abercrombie. Leicester looking to regain the lead on aggregate. Jackson, McGill goes down, it's a blocking foul. So that will be 2 free throws. That one must have been right on the line of charge block as well.
Yeah, agreed. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Wow.
Yeah.
Could have gone either way.
That's why you couldn't pay enough money to be a referee, because those are so hard to judge as to, is he going laterally? Is he in his position? What's the situation? It's the first foul on McGill, and a timeout is called by coach Atiba Lions. And the scores, as you can see, are level on aggregate, 114-114. I always think a few minutes before halftime, in particular, I say at the end of quarters, but if you can just get a little momentum, boy, it changes the halftime mood in the locker room. If one of these two teams, in 3 minutes, you could win 3 minutes by 8 points. You imagine if Leicester were up 18 on the day, or Sheffield were down 2 on the day, the difference in the halftime team talks in that scenario.
No, I mean, Coach Panocha pre-game, he alluded to that period at the end of the third quarter where Leicester Riders had a three-pointer. Duke Shelton knocks it down, and then they go ahead and give up a 4-point play with a technical foul. So you're right, man. These little periods at the ending of quarters can be so big, and it's not just the score as well. You'll say, okay, when you score, it's the momentum and what it can mean then going into the next period, the next quarter.
Well, the Riders are first out of the huddle. Atiba Lions getting full money out of his timeout. The Sharks fans, they like this song. They've got their own little wording for the, I don't think the DJ here in Leicester was aware that the Sheffield fans use this as their We're the Sheffield Sharks song.
Well, the atmosphere is electrifying, Dan, and it's not just due to the Leicester Rider fans, it's also the Sheffield Sharks fans playing their part. We're getting all emotions here from every single angle of this arena. It's just fantastic to be immersed in.
Well, they played one of the games of the season, of the regular season, a few weeks ago on this building. That game went to overtime. Of course, Leicester would need to win by 10 for it to go to overtime today. And Jackson makes the free throw. Oh, Reese, the fifth, has got a chain on. The referees spotted that. I'm amazed they didn't notice that a little earlier. You can't play with the chain on.
I'm amazed he's left it on.
Yeah. Super dangerous to be wearing jewellery. A teammate of mine lost his finger dunking the basketball many years ago, wearing a ring. Wow. He dunked it. He came down and his finger didn't. Sorry for that thought. Some people will be having their Sunday tea here, and I'm talking about. We'll move on.
Well, that's why you're blessed you don't have those athletic teams done. It wasn't you in that story, was it?
Laying it in, mate. Here's Nixon, late shot clock, driving hard. Really tough take from Prentice Nixon.
And Prentice Nixon just embodies that word of toughness as well. You see him there, having to put the mask on, having to get hit in the face with the basketball, and then takes it right to the rim. Nice finish.
Abercrombie down to Thompson. Late shot clock now for Leicester. Thompson to the turnaround. He is up to 14.
Wow. If he's making turnarounds, this is going to be a very difficult defensive assignment for anyone in a Sheffield Sharks jersey.
Reese hiding behind the screens. Gets it to Nixon. Nixon drives in, knocked loose by Hunter, but it came off Thompson last, so it'll stay with Sheffield.
Jalen Hunter, an underrated defender, when he locks into a player, he really got good foot speed there, and look at that, everything without fouling as well.
12 on the shot clock. Sheffield ball from the end. Into Groves. Pumps on the three, puts it on the floor. Stepping backwards, McGill with the offensive rebound. He is right down by Thompson. Still McGill has it. He has to throw it back out to Reese. Broken up by Abercrombie and Leicester have it.
Unbelievable defender. Charles Thompson, defensive team of the year, and surely a front runner there for defensive player of the year.
Well, they got the most votes in the team of the year, so you'd assume that would translate to the player of the year. It is a separate category. Here's Hunter. Fires up the three. Off the mark. Leicester still can't buy a three. 1 of 10. Foul on the rebound is there. Number 11 is Abercrombie.
Not in team fouls just yet, though. They've got a minute and 5 seconds till half time.
He's the first Leicester player to get to 2 fouls, so therefore it's well, again, I'm not sure there's a terrible amount in that, but Wright will check in for him. Leicester by a couple on aggregate. That's a reaching foul on Thompson. It's his second personal foul. So Shelton is quickly to the subs bench to come in for him.
Yeah, bad decision there, and that's really hard sometimes to turn it off when you're so in tune defensively and when you're trying to steal everything and get every ball and swat every play, and that was one of the ones that you'd wish that he could have left alone.
Did both teams get a warning there? Yeah, there's a warning for both teams. There must have been some chatter going on in all of that. And referee McDonald's calling a halt to that.
67% free throw shooter, Jacob Groves. which is lower than I thought it would be.
Yeah, no, he's such a good shooter that you would expect him to be well into the mid-70s, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 45% three-point shooter.
Step back a bit. I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to miss a free throw at those two, does he?
He doesn't know.
Back level on aggregate. Hunter goes past McGill. Oh, beautiful move from Jalen Hunter.
That is tough. Control and the awareness as well to be able to attack that weakness defensively.
Knicks are going hard. Shelton tried to stay out of the way there. He went up with his arm. He didn't go chasing the block, but again, there was one at the other end where there's a bit of body contact on it. That's what the referee has called, and it'll be 2 free throws.
Yeah, Prentice Nixon does an excellent job here. And here's the play before. Look at this. Jalen Hunter just Euro stepping through the defense right down the middle. Route 1.
Again, looking to draw things level on aggregate. We talk about people who are good at free throw shooting. There was only one man ahead of him in Super League basketball this season in free throws. Number 2 behind Ray of Surrey. Well, they've changed into a zone defense here. Jackson, top of the key. He's pretty much automatically at the elbow.
Money, isn't it? Yeah, it's money from there. All he does really is face up. Way too much space too. You can't allow Zach Jackson that much time and space there.
Nixon looking at the clock before he goes. Now he does. Creates some room. Fires up the 3. Back iron. Ball is loose. Shelton from inside his own half. Not too far away from Duke Shelton. And Rob Paternoster turns to the crowd and says, "Give it up for this team." Well, it looked a mammoth task coming in for the Leicester Riders. It looked a slightly unlikely task for the Riders as well. But at the half, they're in front on aggregate. They lead this game by 47 points to 35, and they are 2 points ahead on aggregate.
Incredible, Dan. Look, for the neutral, this is exactly what you wanted. If you appreciate basketball as purist, this is it. You know, it's a win or go home situation now. You know, both teams are pretty much on par, and what an incredible first quarter for Leicester Riders. And Dan, I will re-emphasize, they're shooting poorly. 1 for 11 from the three-point line, yet they're up by 12, and Leicester Riders have to be happy with that.
It's an old-fashioned game, mate. We don't need the 3s. Let's just go back to the 2s, like it's 1987 all over again. Wow, what a first half that has been. Let's take a look back at some of the best bits of it. Really, it was the intensity that Leicester came out with, and whether, I don't know, it's psychologically difficult when you have the lead, I suppose, but whether Sheffield just looked a little tentative in the first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, but I think the intensity is set by the players on court, and you've got one of the most high-intensive players in the league in Charles Thompson. You know, I think he was excellent. He's 14 points, 5 rebounds for him at half-time, and I thought he was really the person that set the tone, certainly early for the Leicester Riders. Look, there is no, there's no denying the magnitude of this game, and I felt like both teams responded well. Yes, Leicester Riders dealt with it better, but both teams have been playing a high-intense level of basketball.
Well, they certainly have. It really has been a thrilling contest here. A place at the O2 next week up for grabs. It's already been a good day for Sheffield. The Hatters have made their position in the final secure. Comfortable win in the end against the Newcastle Eagles. So we know Oakland and Sheffield, as they did in the Cup in Nottingham, are going to be going toe-to-toe for the women's playoff final. We don't know yet who's going to make it on the men's side of the Super League basketball playoffs. It's very much a coin toss here in Leicester. Riders lead by 2 on aggregate as we're at the half. We've got for you now plays of the week coming up as well, as a reminder of how Sheffield got here in their second leg against Cheshire.
And you doing the right rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Very quick offense from Sharks, and 3 from Ricky McGill. High octane, high tempo, exciting offense here from the Sharks. McGill, Anderson. This is the quick rotation they were showing early on, which is working so effectively for them. McGill shapes, goes for 3. Oh my Lord! Ricky McGill bringing the playground to the floor. Holden, pretty better on his drive than it was on his free throw. A lovely jam from Tyreek Scott Grayson. Big finish above the rim, an incredible backdoor cut and a find for him. Now play. Now they are rotating. Gross on 3. Takes it to 7 and the lead to 9. Wow, what a momentum shift. They know how dangerous Nixon is. They're trying to keep him quiet as best they can. Trying to keep this man quiet too. Donovan Clay back out for Nixon. Oh, Prentice Nixon does it again. Incredible heads-up play there. Kicked right back out to Nixon. Big 3. McGill, finger roll for 2. This guy is unstoppable. 23 points in the third quarter. Skylar White has to go for some outside shots, surely. 2s aren't going to do it. And he's not getting them anyway. Austin backs in. They're going to have to go outside of Timberlake. And they're trying every effort. And you can go for the slam and go for the jam. It may not matter overall. We have liftoff. Scott Grayson. Huge 2-hand flush. Clay. Anderson says, Ricky, just go to the right. Anderson, oh, I can do that too. My name is Jamel Anderson. Jamel Anderson rises up. Scott Grayson for the Phoenix, trying to torment McGill and does, and then it's given and 1 for TJ Atwood, who moves into the 20s again. Great job from the Phoenix. Their offensive struggles through that third quarter, it seems like they've kind of shook those things off. McGill, Clay, have that! Throw down the hammer, big fella. What a play from Donovan Clay. TJ Atwood has been pretty much mustered all the way through. We'll give it to Timberlake. He'll go for the jam himself this time. This ring is certainly getting a lot of reverberations. It's a slam fest in this fourth quarter. McGill, Groves, McGill, he'll drive and he'll take a bump and he'll get the N1. Unbelievable finish from McGill. I don't even know how he got the English on the ball to go off the backboard, but he found a way to finish it. Sharks have a 17-point lead, 7 overall. Probably won't matter what happens here. That's going wide, and the Sharks pull it around, and they pull it off, and they will go into the semi-finals of Super League Basketball. They have turned around a 10-point deficit, and they've come out with a 17-point win for a 7-point aggregate victory. It's the Sharks who progress, and the Phoenix say goodbye.
A new dawn has risen in British hoops as Super League Basketball has taken centre stage. But this is about more than basketball. This is where legends rise and rivalries are written. Every game is a battle, every moment is electric, and every fan is a part of the journey. It's time to stand tall as the future unfolds, and Super League Basketball gets set to be bigger and better than anything we've seen before. New season, New stories, new champions to be crowned. From the opening tip to the final buzzer, every second counts. Every shot matters. Nothing is given, everything is earned. So who will rise, who will dominate, and who will make history?
Timberlake will go for the jam himself this time. This ring is certainly getting a lot of reverberations.
It's a slam fest in this fourth quarter.
Steele, trying to get into the Delicum, and Steele's going to try to make up for that. Not before Hajji Begovic throws it down. And just what I was saying, be careful time with the ball. Hajji Begovic steps in front and gets the fans back into it.
Eagles off to the races. James spins off of Irving, finishes with Del Pesh. Wow. Says this is my block party. Wow.
Austin backs in. They're going to have to go outside of Timberlake, and they're trying every effort. And you can go for the slam and go for the jam. It may not matter overall.
We have liftoff. Start racing.
McGill, Clay, and that.
Throw around the hammer, big fella. What a play, Donovan Clay.
Walsh is absolutely volleyball spike by the Leeds best shot blocker.
Charles Thompson enjoys those, doesn't he? More than anything else, you can just see.
What a good psychological advantage it would be for the home club if they can go out up on the aggregate.
As Mitchell swats the ball into the stands. DJ Mitchell, not in his house.
Back out to right. Uses it. Bean and attacks on Rick for the one-handed jab.
Unbelievable, it's a broken play, and it winds up in the hands of Ethan Wright, who just sort of pressed the ejection button.
Manchester doing a great job. Nice cross, and he drops Irving. Take a seat, young man.
Oh, that's going to be on the plays of the week.
Anderson says, Ricky, just go to the right. Anderson, I can do that too. My name is Jamal Anderson.
Jamal Anderson rises up.
Well, this game is perfectly poised at the half here at the Mattioli Arena. The Leicester Riders lead the Breedbrawn Sheffield Sharks 47-35. That means Leicester have a 2-point lead on aggregate, with Sheffield winning the first leg by 10 on Friday. And one of the reasons Leicester have this lead has been the play of Charles Thompson. Right from the opening seconds of the game, he was at it.
Incredible, Dan. Just this impact he's had at both ends of the floor. I think more importantly, he's been the focal point on offense. He's been a sort of a target man, a go-to man. So you haven't had to rely on the shooting, which that's been very difficult for them. 1 for 11 for the three-point line. So they've got a source of high-energy offense inside from Thompson, and he's delivered. He's even making turnaround jump shots, which is it's going to be unguardable for Sheffield Sharks if he's making shots like this.
Well, he has been excellent, as you say, at both ends of the floor. And Leicester's all-time record shot blocker as well. But Zach Jackson, we teed him up at the beginning of the show, and he's delivered in the first half.
Yeah, he needed to have had a big one, and he's done it in an efficient manner as well, shooting 66% from the floor. And you can see his different ways of scoring the basketball. He's been quite aggressive in this game, more things going towards the rim there. but it's been a good source of offense again. It's not been let's rely on Zach Jackson shooting from the perimeter. You know, he's hurt them in the key.
3 steals as well, so he's doing it at the defensive end. And really the leading resistance from Jacob Groves for Sheffield here today.
Yeah, he's been excellent. I thought he was really good at the start of this game. He created some extra offenses for his team, offensive rebound and putback as he did there. But he's such a skillful offensive player, but he's also long. He's 6'9", and as you can see, he's got the ability there to grab and snag offensive rebounds. And I thought he was pretty big for Sheffield Sharks earlier on in this game.
Well, it is excellently poised here in Leicester, and I suppose from Sheffield's point of view, they just go, we don't need to worry about that first half. We're still right. We're one basket away. From Leicester's point of view, they kind of feel like they need to go again because they've done the hard bit, but they can't just sit and defend this lead. They have to try and keep it going.
No, you're right, and it's you know, you can look at it from both ways as well. You know, Sheffield Sharks again. You would say that the balance is tipped to the other side now. You know, coming into this game, they have the advantage. They have the 10-point lead, but now they find themselves 2 points down on aggregate away from home. So you can't help but feel that maybe it's gone the other way, and that the favour now is in with the Leicester Riders. But you know, how many times have we seen this before? Basketball can change in a matter of moments, and it's really important for both teams here now to be able to establish themselves in the second half.
Well, for one of these two teams, as they make their way out onto court, it will be the last time they make their way out onto court. For the other, a date at the O2 next Sunday awaits, but which is which, we don't yet know. We will find out over the next probably 45 minutes or so. It's all to play for. Leicester by 2 on aggregate, have the opening possession. Johnson drops it off to Thompson, who lays it in.
Great work there, and a lot more of a controlled start when you compare it to the start of the first quarter. And you see them look to exploit Mike Kocherobi, who's on 2 fouls from the first half, 3 fouls from the first half. So they're going to look to attack him. And
sorry, you were right first time. He's on 2. It's Anderson's on 3. Here's Nixon for deep 3 off the mark. Long rebound comes out to Groves, his 4th offensive rebound of the game. Kocherobi trying to move Thompson out of the way, gets him up in the air, misses the hook though, and away comes Hunter with the ball. Jackson rearranges that one off the glass. Beautiful.
That is so difficult to do. It's like he's got enough hang time there to be able to adjust that one, but he's moving sideways. Difficult shot to make, but he made it.
And blocked by Abercrombie. It's thrown out of bounds. No, it's deflected out of bounds, so it'll be a Sheffield ball. Wow, this is Leicester's biggest lead of the tie. They never led by more than 3 in the first leg. They lead by 6 here on aggregate.
This is the big difference here. Ricky McGill wasn't being met at the rim in game 1. Hence his 32 points came a lot easier than what he's having time with here today.
Groves, little hesitation, gets him round the defender. He wants a foul and he gets one. A patient whistle, as Zania Stewart would say. But Thompson is called for the foul.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, but I think Jacob Groves is able to get enough contact, or get the defender to commit enough contact here. Good screen from Mike Kocherobi, and you see Jacob Groves go right at it.
3rd personal foul now on Thompson. They can ill afford him to sit down for too long.
And that's where it comes back to bite you sometimes, that end of the second quarter here, where he has that little reaching foul with Jacob Groves, which was a nothing foul. But no, Dan, you're right. Charles Thompson's been so impactful.
First miss of the game from Sheffield from the free throw line. They've been a perfect 9 for 9 in the first half. Oh, I thought that one was short. It just had enough. Hunter trying to find room, gets it out to Johnson. Foul on Nixon.
Wow. Sometimes there's a reason why he gets hit so much. You see Prentice Nixon reaching in there, but he puts his body on the line when he does it. You see Jalen Hunter skipping around there, and you see him reach right over there, but what you do is you leave your body out there. Goodness me.
Second foul on him. Hunter for 3. Still Leicester count by one from behind the arc. 1 of 12. Wow. Imagine if they'd made 40% like they normally do. Here's McGill. Slipped slightly, but was able to get it up anyway.
Sometimes that slip helps because it kind of lulls the defense into thinking you got to turn it over or pass it out.
Jackson trying to find room on the baseline. Rotino doing a good job of making it difficult. Abercrombie way off the mark. McGill. Oh, beautiful head fake. His pass is deflected though. Leicester can run. Jackson goes right past Nixon for the layup.
Unbelievable, beautiful control there. You see Jalen Hunter running with him, which keeps the defense honest. And instead of just bulldozing your way through the rim, sort of skip and dance to it like Zach Jackson does there.
Groves coming around the screen. Ancharobian can hang on to it.
Good hands though from Leicester Warriors. That's one thing they've done an excellent job at today defensively. They've just been active.
Oh, Donovan Clay is coming into the game. The first time in the semi-final that we have seen Donovan Clay checking in. As I say, when in warm-ups, he didn't look like he was going to play at all, but he is out there, and that has really perked the Sheffield fans up.
Wow. Well, it's do or die, Dan. There is no tomorrow, so you can't save a player if the season is over now.
Yeah.
Donovan Clay, such a talent. 14 points a game, 8 rebounds.
Oh, Jackson hit the rim trying to lob it to Thompson. Here's Nixon, pulls up from the top of the key and knocks it down.
Confidence of Sheffield Sharks now as well. You can start to see a little bit of a swing here now. And in the way that they're playing.
Hunter. Oh, he's lost the dribble. He's managed to get it out to Johnson. Late shot clock here, though. Hunter's going to have to shoot. He gets the 3 away. That doesn't go. And rebound Clay.
Point woes just continue.
Clay's almost grimacing as he runs down court, by the way. Nixon for 3. Rims out, and Hunter is first to it.
Well, there's no denying that. He's not healthy. It's just a case of, is he 30% healthy, 40%? That's the thing, you know. What can it give the Sharks? That's the question.
Well, Hunter gets to the rim.
I would attack him, you know, just like Jalen Hunter did on that occasion. I'll go right at the player which is in question. It's as good as someone being on 4 fouls for me.
Yeah. McGill. Oh, he lost the dribble and he travelled with it in the end. That'll go back to Leicester.
Again, that's Charles Thompson's presence there. Moves his feet, hands straight up, doesn't foul. Just good defense. And a good outcome for Sharks. You'd rather turn the ball over that way than an open play turnover.
Well, Reese the 5th and Anderson back into the game for Sheffield. Wright is checked in for Leicester. Jackson. Johnson for 3. Finally, one goes for Leicester.
Spencer Johnson. He's the only one to knock one down here this afternoon. He's 2 for 4 now from the 3-point line.
Illegal screen there on Clay, using that hit. Well, Leicester missed 13. They made the first one. They missed 13. They made one now.
Charles Thompson fired up. Goodness me, it's like children.
Sorry, while we were watching that replay, Shelton was coming in for Thompson, and as he turned to go to the bench, he bumped into Nixon, and they're both going, he bumped into me, right? And the referee says, go sit down, both of you. You're both coming out of the game. Just go sit down. Here is Shelton. To Jackson. Jackson stepping his way through the key, off the mark. Just missed time there, the rebound Johnson, so Groves comes away with it. Groves out to Clay. Oh, Glasgow's left wide alone, and he can hit the three, and Leicester pay for that mistake.
That's a big one too, Dan. One of the more experienced players on court, Glasgow Junior, team captain, knocks that one down.
As they got down 8, they needed a score. Here's Shelton going to work against Clay. What a battle that is. Shelton gets the shot away, but Clay wins it. Out in front is Reese, and he lays it in. Rob Paternoster calls for time. As Sheffield have a little bit of momentum now. Leicester still have the advantage with 4 to play in the third, but Sheffield with their tails up.
Yeah, and I feel bad. Duke Shelton's got a little bit of a mouthful here, but you kind of want to go at the player that's the question mark is under his health. But great stand there from Donovan Clay. He wasn't giving up an inch, and what that meant is it forced Duke Shelton into a difficult turnaround jump shot, and Sheffield Sharks. In a matter of seconds later, you've got James Reese, the 5th, laying it in. Wow, 3-point game down.
Well, Sheffield were down 8 a few moments ago, but Leicester lost. Glasgow on the 3, and then the run out again. Glasgow with his head up, finding Reese, and 5 points in quick succession makes it a 3-point aggregate game.
Experience often wins out. You see Rodney Glasgow Jr.'s experience and his composure. He's been one of these players that has had a good game here. He's plus 10 on the plus minus.
He is the only Sheffield player other than Clay who's played a couple of minutes to be in positive numbers on the plus minus.
And this is a substantial one as well. Plus 10 is. You know, there's not really.
When you're down 13,
yep.
They've lost the minutes. He's not been on the floor by 23. Here's Wright for Leicester. To Johnson. He's looking for somebody to hand off to. There's nobody there. Shelton now. He's going to drive at Clay. Gets all the way to the rim this time, but leaves it short. Johnson can't put it back. Johnson's in there again, and there's a foul amongst the melee. So that will be 2 free throws for Leicester.
Oh, Donovan Clay is good enough to move his feet and keep his body. Duke Shelton really struggling to score against him. And that's the length as well that Donovan Clay gives you. You know, 6'8", big body, and excellent energy there from Spencer Johnson, who just keeps that offense alive by his persistence alone.
Well, it's the second foul on Clay, but they don't need to worry about saving him, I guess. You got all 5 fouls to use.
Well, credit to him as well. You know, how many
impossible to come in
players,
that situation.
well, and how many players do we see now that, you know, want to preserve themselves and protect their body? And, you know, I speak from back in my day, you know, you just play basketball for the club that you played for. There was never really any, you know, what do you call it, managed minutes, and, you know, and well, probably the wrong thing for me as I had to retire at 30, but, you know, you get my point. You know, I have to respect Donovan Clay's, you know, caring enough of the Sheffield Sharks to put himself in the situation. Admirable.
Glasgow out to Anderson, zipped on to Groves. Back out to Anderson. Shot clock getting low. Groves drives in. Groves off the glass, misses it, and Wright comes away with it. Out in front is Hunter, back to Jackson. Wright gets it somehow to Shelton. 6 on the shot clock now for Hunter. Backing his way into the key. Not quite.
Another good defensive set that time. Sheffield Sharks.
Hunter knocking it away, but just bouncing the ball on the line. That'll be a Sheffield ball.
This is what I would expect now to happen. The points are a little bit harder to come by. Both teams really expended a lot of energy on the defensive end. It's a cliche as it sounds, but it's so important. Defense wins you championships, and that's why games can sort of turn like this.
Well, a breather all round as the perspiration is mopped up. And it'll be Glasgow to inbound. Glasgow trying to create for himself a long 2 for Rodney Glasgow.
He has been huge. 7 big points and 4 assists from Rodney Glasgow Jr. This is for Ricky McGill and Prentice Nixon on the bench, Dan.
Yeah. Right, gets past his man, but it's a good recovery, followed by Abercrombie doesn't go. Groves with the rebound. Well, Glasgow somehow comes away with it. It's all a bit chaotic. Groves did well to keep that in play. Moving off the ball is Clay. It ricochets out to Reese. Anderson, time, space, knocks down the 3, and Sheffield are back in front on aggregate.
And it had to be Jamel Anderson, the one with the most experience on court in top flight British basketball. Wow, big play.
A lot of it, of course, for Leicester. Here's Wright looking to reply. He strings a 3.
Wow, it's a response there, and Ethan Wright will be the second player in the Leicester Riders jersey here today to make a 3-pointer.
Leicester back ahead. Anderson thought about another, but goes back to Glasgow instead. Glasgow, late shot clock. Reese fires up the 3. That is short. Tipped down. It ricochets about. Abercrombie has it. Hunter just going to milk some clock here. And he's trapped in the corner by Clay. It's going to be turned over. Anderson comes away with it. Numbers only right back. Here's Reese. Reese off the glass, and the foul is called, and the basket will count, and a chance for a 3-point play.
Wow, defense was suffocating there from Sheffield Sharks, and that turnover has led to a potential 3-point play here. It was an odd foul because he might just sort of jump straight up, didn't put his hands up, just jumped up in the air. So you really want your hands up. If you're going to jump, put your hands up just to try and affect the shot. But he wasn't trying to foul, was he? That's the thing.
Three-point play converted by Reese. Sheffield back in front on aggregate. Abercrombie down to Shelton. Shelton dumps it off to Wright, and Wright lays it in.
Good decision from Duke Shelton. They put the ball in his hands a lot of the time to try and go at Donovan Clay, but this time makes the right decision, surveys his options and makes the right play.
Reese. Game clock getting low. Here's Clay. Clay bumps it in, and that will do it for the third quarter. And this one still right in the balance. It is Sheffield now who have the slenderest of margins with 10 minutes to play. Leicester lead the game 64-55, but Sheffield lead on aggregate by just a solitary point.
Well, there's been a twist in the plot, Dan, and that was the introduction of Donovan Clay. And sometimes you don't need to score the ball to affect the game. And I can't help but feel when he was introduced into the game, it just seemed to take a bit of a turn, a bit of a twist. And he's the one, deservedly, who just makes the last basket of the quarter to give Sheffield Sharks a 1-point lead.
Well, they were 6 points better off with him on the floor in those, what did he play, nearly 7 minutes of the quarter, and the numbers, well, I mean, I don't know they tell you anything because the drama is in the score right now, and we can pick out rebounds, assists, and all of that, but this is now about which team can make big plays in the fourth quarter of a playoff semi-final.
That's exactly it, and you know, you look at both teams as well, you know, the minute distribution as well. Zach Jackson on just under 29 minutes there. But it was a period of time where Rodney Glasgow was pulling the strings there, which gave Prentice Nixon and the likes of Ricky McGill the opportunity to have a break, a rest, recharge their batteries.
Well, we talk about the depth of Sheffield versus Leicester. It's obviously playing out in the bench points where it's 22 points to 10. And every single Sheffield player who's come into the game has scored. And that is more players than have come into the game for Leicester, obviously. Well, Clay is on the wrong side of the court here. You have to, or is he not inbounding it? He's not inbounding it. Here we go then, 10 minutes for a place in the final. Sheffield and Leicester almost inseparable. The Sharks with a 1-point lead on aggregate as we get the final 10 minutes of the season here at the Mattioli Arena underway. Anderson. Jeffries. Back to Reese. Late shot clock again for Reese. He's got to do something. He needs to get the shot away down to Clay. Did he get off in time? Yes, he did, said the referee.
Wow. Unbelievable find. Donovan Clay. Big buckets here at the end of the third and start the fourth from him.
Right, can only have been a tenth of a second to spare as well. Jackson to the fall away. He knocks it down.
Big response there. And what you'd want now, both these two teams go pound for pound here early stages in the fourth quarter.
Reese. Anderson, McGill off the ball, moving off the ball, knocked away. That'll be a Sheffield possession. Oh, actually, it's a foul. It's a foul on Hunter.
Wasn't he? Yeah, he was going to the
referee on the near side pointed down court as if to say it was a knockaway. The referee on the baseline called a foul.
Wow.
So McGill goes to the line for 2 free throws. Ooh, he's missed one. Only the second missed free throw of the game for Sheffield. Second one, no mistake. 8-point lead, 2-point deficit as far as Leicester are concerned on aggregate. Anderson will not allow Jackson the ball. Hunter out to Johnson for 3, off the mark. Rebound Anderson. Oh, there's something going on off the ball between Clay and Shelton. It's still going on. Shelton being told to calm down by his teammates. Well, what is the outcome of this? Referees having a conversation. They're obviously pushing and shoving. And then there's a bit of jawing at the end of it.
Well, referee's had a good look of it, though. He was monitoring it the whole way.
Well, are we going to get the shake hands, boys? They're being told. Everybody's listening to what's being said.
Old school down.
Yeah. It's a double foul on 2 and 5. It signaled 20 for a second there just to confuse me. So it will go back to Sheffield's possession because they had the ball. It's the third foul on both of them. Oh, there's a technical as well. Oh, so there's a double foul and a technical foul. So I think they both go to 4, do they? So we'll go back to possession. Just waiting for the table to catch up with it.
Is it? Because if the fouls and the technicals go on for team fouls.
Yeah, it pushes both close to team fouls. So basically, there was 2 fouls, a double foul, so they were both fouling each other. That was their 3rd personal foul. There was also 2 technical fouls, so that was their 4th personal foul. So they both sat down on 4 fouls, and the team fouls are 3-2 now. Leicester with 3, Sheffield with 2 in this quarter. McGill off the mark. Rebound on Jarobia. Reese steps into a 3 and misses. Rebound Abercrombie.
There's an opportunity there for Sheffield Sharks. I think James Reese the 5th want that one back, stepping into that one. It was a good look.
Jackson fires up the 3 off the mark. 3 of 18, Leicester. McGill over to Anderson. Knocked away by Jefferson. Here comes Leicester, but it's stolen by... No, it's not. Johnson keeps it. He needs some help, and he finds it in the shape of Hunter. Hunter is fouled, and that will be a Leicester ball from the side.
Teelan Hunter at the centre of everything there. He's done so well initially to commit Sheffield Sharks into a turnover, but also there you just see him so busy. Gets fouled there as he's looking to pass it to Riley Abercrombie.
Groves returns, so too does Nixon. Who's going out? Anderson is one of them, and Reese is the other. Sheffield still leading by 2 on aggregate. 7.5 minutes to play here in the semi-final second leg. Hunter, nice pass. Johnson squeezes it in.
It's a tough finish. Tough finish from Spencer Johnson. He didn't think he had enough on it. 13 points personal for him, and he's been a dark horse.
Knocked loose by Hunter. Jackson has it. Hits Johnson out in front, and Johnson will lay it in. Leicester are back ahead on aggregate. They've suddenly turned it around with 2 quick scores, and a team of Lions calls for time.
And it's Jalen Hunter's energy this time. Back-to-back monumental defensive plays. This time gets the tip, and then Zach Jackson secures the ball, and out to the races, Spencer Johnson. 15 points for him now, personally.
Well, this second leg has ebbed and flowed ever since Leicester got back into the tie in the first quarter by winning that opening 10 minutes by 10 points. There's been very little between them. Leicester briefly got 8 ahead. Oh, very briefly. Sheffield then got back on top, and it's swung from one way to the other.
Look, Dan, regardless of what you think of it, aggregate basketball, game series, this game has been electrifying for the very simple reason of the format.
Yeah.
This aggregate matchup has been unbelievable, and I think
because if you played a best of 3, that first game was a comfortable win for Sheffield. They'd probably win by 20 instead of 10.
Agreed.
In this game, it'd be quite easy. You don't put Clay back into the game.
You do not.
Save him for game 3. Leicester get away from 18 to 25, and you end up with 2 not very close games versus a 2-point game.
Agreed.
I mean, I understand why people don't like it, but it has its own...
Foden disclosure, I've always been a favourite of the series, but having moments like this makes me reconsider my thought process.
Yeah. Here's Glasgow back into the game. He's been excellent, the captain for Sheffield. So too Groves, down to Ocharobia. Ocharobia hooks one in.
Yeah, if he gets it that deep, it's a high probability that he's going to finish. And Mike Ocharobia, good response from him.
Good response from the team of Lions. That was a perfectly drawn up play by the looks of it. Here's Hunter. Hunter underneath. Travelling violation is the call.
Oh dear. We'll have to see that one again.
Well, first reaction from Rob Paternoster was calm down, don't worry about it. Let's get back and play defense. He cuts off the ball. It might be.
It might not be either, Dan.
Groves spinning one way and the other, and he lays it in.
Great move there from Jacob Groves. And he's been excellent here today, isn't he, for Sheffield Sharks? 13 points, leads everyone in a Sharks jersey here today.
Johnson with room for three, and he knocks it down. He's third in the game, Leicester ahead.
Well, that's one man who's immune to bad shooting, and that's Spencer Johnson. Wow, third triple of this afternoon.
Well, they're looking for the same play here, Sheffield. This time it doesn't go to Groves. 6 on the shot clock. McGill needs to get it away. McGill's got to shoot. He's rocking, he's rolling, he's too late. It's a shot clock violation. Ricky McGill took too long.
Yeah, he was in a difficult situation there, Ricky McGill, and I think he's better at attacking in those instances just because the switch had happened after the screen, so you've got a 6'8" mobile Charles Thompson guarding you. I think Ricky McGill's got to attack there. A great defensive stance though from the Leicester Riders again.
Donovan Clay is back into the game. 5.5 minutes ago, Leicester now edging it by a point on aggregate. Thompson to Jackson, chased by Retino. Jackson, little dig, but somehow he gets the shot away, can't finish it though, and he's on the floor, so they have momentary numbers here, Sheffield. Retino is the spare man, and Retino lays it in.
Smart play there from Jordan Retino. Could have elected to shoot that corner ball, but instead goes all the way to the rim.
Well, McGill hits the deck. Looked like Johnson might have given him a little shove, but he gets all the way to the rim and it flips back Leicester's way.
Spencer Johnson. He is on another level. 20 points for him now today. Now, such an acrobatic finish there.
Groves to Retino. Down to Clay. Oh, he had space there. I don't think he quite realised it. Foul is called. Basket is good. That's going to be on Thompson. That's going to be his fourth, I think. Let's see the confirmation. Basket is good. Clay will go to the line for a bonus free throw. It is number 32 that's shown to the table.
It's so difficult to stop. There you've got one of the best offensive big men in the league against one of the best, if not the best, defensive big man. And Donovan Clay wins out on that occasion.
Fourth foul on Thompson. Clay is not a great free throw shooter, to be fair. But Thompson is going to have to walk the line, and obviously Shelton's on 4 as well. So if he was to foul out, Leicester are in trouble. Hunter gets it away in off the glass, and it just goes from one way to the other. Leicester back ahead.
Jalen Hunter does such a good job of getting in those little pockets there. He's got one defender behind him, one in front of him, and he sort of slithers in between.
Here's Clay, he misses the layup.
It's a good look from Donovan Clay though. That's the types of plays as well when your help isn't quite there, because your elevation isn't quite there. You didn't quite get off the floor to shoot that basketball there.
Abercrombie looking inside, but Groves' length is enough to steal that out of the air.
He is long, isn't he, in wingspan. He's got to be touching 6'10", 6'11".
Glasgow to the runner, tough finish from Rodney Glasgow. Sheffield back on top.
Unbelievable. Rodney Glasgow has found ways to get it done throughout this whole game. 9 points personal for him.
Hunter. Out to Abercrombie. Abercrombie down to 4 on the shot clock. He's got to get it away. He beats the buzzer. He misses the shot. The ball is loose and Clay has it. Inside the final 3. Sheffield with the ball and the lead. Ball ricochets about. Johnson has it. Johnson off and running. Johnson takes it to the rim and lays it in. Leicester ahead.
Spencer Johnson. Everything going out the rim has been money for him today. 22 points for him and leads all scorers. Excellent finish.
2.5 minutes to go. The lead trading with every basket. That is the 15th foul on Leicester, so that's going to be shots for Jacob Groves.
This is where as well those fouls disrupt the game. The double fouls there get you a little bit closer to the team fouls. And of course the bonus.
Sheffield only on 3 in this quarter, so you've still got a little wiggle room in that regard. Jacob Groves to the free throw line, 3 or 4 today. Ties the scores on aggregate. He misses the second, so we stay level. Well, we've been trading leads for the last 3 or 4 minutes, but now we are all square. How are your nerves at home watching this? Here's Jackson. Jackson scoops it up and in, Leicester ahead.
Unbelievable. He goes to his left side, which is his weaker hand, but he gets the step on Jordan Martino, and that extended finish there. Zach Jackson with another big play. 18 points for him personally.
Here's McGill, gets it back to Clay. Clay puts it on the floor. In the corner, Reese for 3, no! Rebound Johnson.
Jalen Hunter's done so well.
Oh, that's not a great pass. But Hunter does really well to get in front of Reese to draw the foul, and that will be a Leicester ball from the side.
Yeah, I've seen James Reese the 5th steal the ball here before, just on the other side of the key, and a ferocious dunk. The last time these two teams met here, it was almost another one, but as you say, Dan, Jalen Hunter does a smart thing there. Just if you put your body in the way, and it's such a bizarre feeling because you know you're going to get hit, you just sort of do it and just embrace what's ever going to come your way.
Anderson comes in for Retino. There is 102 seconds left. Leicester have a 2-point advantage on aggregate. They also have the ball. They're trying to make it a 2-possession tie. It's into Johnson. Johnson will bring it forward. Reese steals it away. Reese chases it back, and Reese will lay it in. We're tied.
Excellent defender, and where the defense really happens, they kept the ball out of the hands of Jalen Hunter.
So pushing the back from Ricky McGill. He's got 2 hands on his back. You can't argue with that. That is the 15th foul, and Hunter is going to go to the line.
Yeah, incredible steal from James Reese the 5th on the previous play, but where the credit is to keep the ball out of Jalen Hunter's hands, because he's the decision maker. He's the one who runs the show for the Leicester Riders. As you see him on that occasion, just an intelligent play, slow things down, get the defense to hit you in the back there as he goes to the line now. First time at the line for him today, Dan.
He's a 79% free throw shooter on the season. He needs them both here. He's just ticked his team in front. He makes them both. Leicester by 2.
There's 2 big pairs there. Just into context, Leicester Riders were 2 for 9 from the free throw line in game 1. And you get a player step up there and hit both.
Here's Groves. Trying to get it back to McGill. Oh, that's an offensive foul on Clay. Again with the hit. And that is going to be the end of his game as he fouls out.
He knew it too. He said, I'm out. But what an unbelievable impact he's had. And that's how good of a player Donovan Clay is. You introduce him into a a high-intense situation such as this, and he impacts the game. He's changed the game today, and you see that just hit.
There's a timeout. I think Jalen Hunter has a cut on his arm, by the way. So Leicester in this timeout are going to have to find some way of stopping the cut. They're going to have to tape his arm off. The referee saw it on the way out because they need Jalen Hunter in this situation, Leicester, just for his ball handling as well as his decision making.
Well, there was an instance up in Sheffield where Jalen Hunter gets ejected from the game.
Yeah.
And Leicester Riders win that one in overtime, I believe. You remember that? Was it overtime?
No.
Am I getting the games?
I think you're making that up.
Okay.
I don't think that happened. In Sheffield, Leicester didn't win in Sheffield this year, did they?
Yes.
They lost. Where do we what competition? I can't remember.
League competition.
Sheffield won 3-1 in the head-to-head, and the
3-1, and the win was up in Sheffield.
No, the overtime game that he got, the game he got ejected from was here.
Was it here?
Yeah,
okay.
It was against Sheffield. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. It was against Sheffield, but it was here.
Wrong city. Wrong city.
Anyway, there's 1:13 to go. Leicester have the ball, and they lead by 2. Well, Hunter, the bleeding he's not been taped. The referee is checking his arm to see if he can come back in. I don't know how long do you have to wait before you decide that the bleeding isn't there. I don't know.
What constitutes as too much bleeding as well?
Well, any blood, I think it's too much blood. Well, whatever it is, he's okay. Sheffield with the full court pressure. They've already forced one turnover here in the dying embers of this game. It's into Hunter.
See, last time Prentice Nixon kept the ball out of the hands of Jalen Hunter. James the fifth's got to be careful here with the reach.
Aggressive though. Here's Jackson. Jackson stumbling. He still somehow gets there, and he's mugged from behind by Anderson. So that will be 2 free throws. What's that on Anderson? I've lost track of all of the fouls now. I think that's his 4th.
There was a lot of bumps there. That could have been a travel as well. Now there was a lot of things happening there. Look at this. He attacks Jamal Anderson. Does a good job to keep his balance there, and he's took his 2 steps, isn't he? And then he's got clattered along the way. Could have been either way.
Well, 2 huge free throws with 54 seconds to go for Jackson to make it a 2-possession game. That was the 4th on Anderson, by the way.
82% free throw shooter.
Oh, but he's missed one here. Well, I remind you at the start of the show, when these two teams met 10 years ago in a quarterfinal, it went to over. Oh, he's missed them both. Gross with the rebound. That one somehow comes out. I was about to say, it somehow went to overtime, and Sheffield ended up losing by enough in overtime to win the tie. Looking to draw things level. Anderson to Groves. Groves with the shot. That's in and out. Thompson, does he have it? No, the ball's on the floor. Who's got it? Leicester have it. Away come Leicester. They need to run the clock. Sheffield need a foul. Leicester need to run the clock. Hunter's in an awkward spot. Gets it to Abercrombie. Just hold the ball.
Hunter's done so well there.
Jackson to the rim. It doesn't go. Ball is loose. Here comes Sheffield. A shot to win. A shot to tie. It's a foul. He's missed it. He's missed it. A foul has been called. And he's missed it. Foul is on Hunter. If he makes both of these, we've got potential overtime here in Leicester. Rob Paternoster still has a timeout. Ricky McGill, 2 free throws to force overtime, potentially.
Well, Zach Jackson went to the line just a few plays before and went 0 for 2. Now it's Ricky McGill's test.
The crowd making as much noise as they can to put him off. He makes the first. The other thing is you've got to box out if he misses. It's going to be an almighty battle. Ricky McGill, who forced overtime here in the last league meeting with a 3, trying to do something similar here. From the line, he didn't believe it, I don't think. The way he jumped He didn't think that was going in, but it did. So we are level on aggregate. Leicester have 2.7 seconds to win it.
Dan, this is unbelievable. There's been very little between these two teams. Very little between these two teams all season. Second versus third. And today, one of these two teams, the season will be over, and that is a makeable layup down. This could be so much worse for the Leicester Riders.
I was just wondering if there was much foul there. I'm getting BJ Holmes flashbacks there.
Don't even. Yeah, losing that final in 2013 to 2 free throws. Now, what a terrible way to lose a basketball game. But anyway, here we are in 2025.
I assume here Leicester gets the ball to presumably Jackson or Hunter and attacks the rim and tries to get a foul or a layup.
I think so. I mean, 2.7 seconds, you've got enough time, to create something.
Well, one play for 0-2, one stop for overtime.
Who does overtime favour? If it does go into overtime, who does it favour?
It's a coin toss. It's whoever scores last. It looks like it's Spencer Johnson to inbound.
Which is, again, Spencer Johnson's been their best scorer today. 22 points for him.
Well, this is a different play. Not what Leicester usually runs something different to this. It's into Thompson. Thompson on the turnaround is short. We are going to overtime. We are going to overtime. 80 minutes. Not enough to separate these two ball clubs. We'll have an 85.
Well, I don't think that was the first option, but I think because of Sheffield Sharks' defense, that was the only option. And the turnaround jump shot was short. And here we go, another 5 minutes of basketball, Dan.
Well, he's got a decent position, but he's a bit further out than he would want to be, you would feel. Well, we're going again for an extra 5 minutes, as we did 10 years ago when these two teams played in aggregate. And it was Sheffield who avoided defeat by a big enough margin on that occasion. They lost by 5 or 6 and they had an 11-point first leg lead. They have a 10-point first leg lead this time around, so 5 or 6 would do nicely for them. Let's have a look at the numbers. I mean, it is one of those games where you kind of wonder what neither team has shot the ball very well from three-point line. Well, the few missed free throws. Leicester have missed 4. They just needed 1 from Zach Jackson to see it over the line, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough.
But then Sheffield would say we just needed Ricky McGill to make a layup, and we could have won.
Yeah, all the shoulda, woulda, couldas definitely come into play now. I think what Sheffield Sharks don't have now is their secret trump card in Donovan Clay, which they inserted into the game. He's fouled out.
So the foul issues in the game, obviously Thompson and Shelton on 4 for Leicester. For Sheffield, Clay's already gone and Anderson is on 4. So those are 3 very influential players on both teams. The possession arrow means Leicester will get the first go here in overtime. Well, strap yourselves in, folks. We go for another 5.
Yes, we do. And this game has been unbelievable. Just a true privilege to watch and call, and it's part of me doesn't ever want it to end.
Well, good job. I didn't ask you who the MVP was, Anne.
That hasn't even popped into my brain yet. I've got the producers in my ear. Who's the MVP? But that's not the
McGill
focus.
with the steal, but he's knocked it out of bounds. It'll be a Leicester ball with 3.8 on the shot clock.
Wow. And the intensity hasn't dropped. Here we are. Extended time here now in overtime, and the intensity is still on 100. When is it going to waver? When is it going to subside?
When the buzzer sounds.
I think so. And there is no tomorrow. I guess there's no resting for another time for one of these two teams.
Thompson to the fadeaway. Boy, he wished that was 2 minutes ago, doesn't he?
Unbelievable. That's huge. I love the desire to want to rectify that as well. Straight away, Charles Thompson with a turnaround jump shot. I think it's important to score first in overtime. As you say, whoever scores last. But
Reese off the mark. Ocharobia with the rebound, powering it up, but can't convert. It came off. Ocharobia on the way out. You can see Thompson, normally a shot blocker, didn't want anything to do with that.
no, he understands it's important in this game. And as you say, Michael Ocharobia will want that one back. I think that's a finishable play for him.
Hunter. Behind the screen, fires up the three, and it goes! Jalen Hunter, who was 0 of 5 in regulation, makes his first three of the game.
And that's a big one. Maybe he was saving it for what it truly mattered. Coming off that screen, found the pocket.
McGill, his shot wins out. Leicester with the rebound.
And a flat start here for Sharks. No Prentice Nixon on court as well.
Here's Jackson. Knocked loose by Anderson. Jackson nearly gets it back. It came off him last. And that's going to be a Sheffield ball.
Yeah, good defense from Sheffield there. Mike Ocharobia and Anderson in the corner by themselves there. Defended that very well. Good space in there for that screen. Mike Ocharobia hits it off of Zach Jackson's leg.
Here's McGill. Anderson to Groves. Groves with some room. He misses. Bats it out by Ocharobia. Anderson for three. Doesn't go.
Wow, 2 opportunities gone back in there. Jacob Groves in that sweet spot of his, and then Jamal Anderson stepping into that 3.
2 minutes of overtime gone. Sheffield yet to score. Johnson. Out to Hunter, looking for another 3. He's got it again! Jalen Hunter with 2 massive 3-pointers, and suddenly Leicester have some daylight.
And the audacity to be able to step up after being 0 for 5 in regulation. He hits one big one, and then follows it up with an even bigger one to extend this lead now to 8.
Well, Leicester's biggest lead of the game has been 18. They've matched that here in overtime thanks to Jalen Hunter with 2 absolutely huge 3-pointers. They went under the screen, and why not when he's 0 for 5? And the second one, this is just a confident shot. Give me the ball, I'm knocking it down.
It's a big, confident shot, Dad, and from your rookie as well. Stepping up, being a leader. They don't get much bigger than that.
Well, whatever happens here in Leicester, we have had some unbelievable drama. The first 8 points of the game, of the overtime, scored by Sheffield. I'm all over the place. This game has thrown me off. The first 8 points of overtime scored by Leicester. Sheffield need a score here.
They do, and they've been the team that looks a little bit mentally and physically fatigued. Prentice Nixon, I don't understand why he hasn't been playing as well. These are the types of games that he's going to be one of my first choices to thrust in the fire. But he's on court now, but is it too late?
Nixon to McGill. McGill loses the ball, and Leicester have it with Abercrombie. They're looking for a knockout blow here, Leicester. Time, they want to run time first.
Yeah, plenty of time left. You saw how easily or quickly Sheffield Church disintegrated that 8-point deficit they had in regulation.
Oh, it's an offensive foul. Thompson is done. Thompson is out of the game for the push-off. 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go. It's still not done yet. Well, Leicester are going to go small ball now. It's Ethan Wright checking in. There's not a big man out there. Well, there might be now because Ocharobia's coming in. Ocharobia's coming in for Reese. Massive play for Sheffield out. They still need to score. They haven't scored yet in this overtime period. 3 minutes now gone. Here's McGill. McGill drives. McGill is blocked by Wright. Fresh into the game. He says, don't worry about Thompson. I'll block the shot.
Well, he's done that all season, Ethan Wright. We call him sneaky athletic, but he's just athletic. Unbelievable play there from him.
Hunter, pass to triangulation in, and Leicester have a 10-point lead. Here comes Sheffield quick though. Nixon drives in, Nixon misses, Jackson with the rebound. And that could be it. That could be it. The fans are all on their feet. Riders echoing around the Mattioli. What a second leg from their team. Nixon with the foul and Hunter. Look at his celebration. He's pumping the fans up for sure. And it's his 3-pointers in overtime that are probably going to see his team to the O2. Oh, he's got a technical. He's pointed something to the bench and he's got called for a technical. Jalen Hunter, he pointed at the bench, the Sheffield bench, and he's got a technical. That's his 4th foul. And Sheffield, with 1:16 to go, have a chance to get their first point of overtime on the board. And he misses that. Well, Hunter needs to stop chatting now because he will be out of the game if he doesn't. Hunter just needs to keep his calm here because they don't have a backup point guard either. Oh, he's missed the free throw. Well, it's all happening in overtime. They've still got a 10-point cushion, Leicester. But 11 is better than 10. He's missed them both. Can you believe it? Ricky McGill. This is going up, isn't it? It's got to go up quickly. Oh, he slipped. They don't want to take too long, Sheffield. Oh, nice pass, and Reese jams it in. Hunter. Clock management time for Leicester now. And Reese running into the back of him. Commits the foul, and Hunter's got a chance to make amends.
Yeah, look, I don't know, I think I'm fouling this sooner, just because it's a guy who just went 0 for 2 from the line. You know, good 3 or 4 seconds gone off the court there. It's not one outreach either, Dan.
It's not, no.
Plenty of time to make something happen.
Ricky McGill and Prentice Nixon on the court. Jacob Groves as well. Anderson and Reese can make threes as well. You'd rather be up 8 than down 8, but it's not out of reach. Hunter makes the first of 2, just to push it back to 10. They're trying to wind him up, I think, here, because Reese is having a bit of conversation. They know he's 1 foul away from leaving the game. He makes them both. Lets his free throws do the talking. Here comes Nixon. It's got to be quick here, Sheffield. Here's Groves for 3. It's got to go in. It doesn't go in. The ball is loose, but McGill has it. Nixon now. Nixon fires up the triple. That doesn't go. Johnson rises high for the most important rebound he's got all season, I think. Then he throws it away. No, Abercrombie has it. It's going to be an 8-second violation. It's an 8-second violation. They didn't get it over. Abercrombie was right by the line. Just run forward. Rob Paternoster says, don't worry, get back. There's only 32 seconds.
Again, it's a good turnover. This quality of Brady of turnovers, this is what you want when you can set up on your defense.
You'll take rather than you want.
Yes.
Here's Nixon. Nixon for 3. It's a good challenge. It doesn't go. But they still keep rebounding it. Reese for 3. He misses. Hunter has it now. now the shot clock is off, but Nixon's going to commit the foul first. But Leicester now are 20 seconds away from a seemingly unlikely trip to the O2. They were down by 20 in the first leg. In the third quarter, they somehow cut it to 10. And today, they've wiped those 10 out and added another 10 to it. You got an MVP yet?
I do,
20
yeah.
seconds left.
We've got our cameras on him already. Jalen Hunter, I thought he was excellent.
Oh, it's stolen away by Jackson. He doesn't jump the hurdle. Wisely so, because they're going to need him next week. Riders fans on their feet. The cry of riders echoing around. They know their team is going to the O2 again. Nixon, just get out of the way, whoever that was. That's what Rob Paternoster is saying. Just get out of the way, give him the layup. I think it was right.
Down this overtime quarter, 14-2.
Yeah. And the only two have been from the free throw line, I think. 3 now. Trying to remember. No, the dunk from Reese was the other score.
That's right, yeah.
Nixon makes them both. But Leicester really only need to inbound it to a teammate. They do need to get over midcourt, but once they do, I think Sheffield will back away and time will tick down. And the Leicester Riders, for the 7th time in the last 9 years, are going to the O2 and the playoff final. They lost the first leg by 10. They needed overtime to see it home here in the second leg, but they've won this game by 20, and they are through to the final.
And you see what it means to him as well. Even Coach Paternoster, who's been there so many times, the elation on his face, celebrating with his teammates, or celebrating with his team, excuse me. This was a tall order going into this game down 10 by arguably one of the best teams in the SLB this year. They carved into that deficit early. They fought, both teams fought pound for pound through the remaining 3 quarters of this game. And what a spectacle we saw here today. Unbelievable.
Well, they've been the nearly man of the season, Leicester, haven't they? They nearly made the trophy final. They nearly made the cup final. They nearly won the league. But there's no nearly about this. They are going to the playoff final. They've done an incredible job, as you say, in overtime to outscore Sheffield 14 points to 4. To see it through and see it over the line, and Rob Paternoster into his wife there, I think, and his children in the front row to celebrate that. But what a moment for the Leicester Riders, as you say. They've been there so many times, but this group hasn't. This group is new to it all. These are mainly rookies, apart from Zach Jackson.
When you win games like this, you become part of the history. You know, there's games that, even on air today, we're commentating about games that I was part of over a decade ago. We still talk about them. I think this could have one of those context to. This could be a game we talk about for years to come. Unbelievable.
Well, it definitely goes into the annals of one of the great aggregate comebacks. And Leicester and Sheffield have had some battles in the playoffs over the years. It was Sheffield who was celebrating this time last year. It's Leicester who've taken the win this time around. They've won by 97 points to 77 on the night. And that is enough for a 10-point aggregate win after overtime. Woo! Let's take a breath, and let's take a pause, and let's have a look at the numbers. Here we go. Well, I think when Sheffield look back, it will be the amount of missed shots, 47% from 2-point range, 39% from the floor. We talked a lot about Leicester and their missing threes. They missed a lot today, but they made the 2 that mattered. Jalen Hunter made the 2 that mattered, and there was very little between them in terms of the number, as you would expect I guess, although it is a 20-point game when you look up at the scoreboard, but in the score that matters, in the aggregate score, it is the Leicester Riders 172, the B Brawn Sheffield Sharks 162, and Leicester have punched their ticket to next week's final against either Newcastle or London. That game is underway right now in the northeast, and remember, Newcastle had the first leg lead. As we look back over the highlights, wouldn't it be some level of irony if the first Super League basketball final is Leicester and Newcastle in the playoff final, the two great teams of the last 15 years or so, maybe more, 20 years for Newcastle. But somehow they found a way, and as I say, Leicester's season has been punctuated with heartbreak. You think of that semi-final game here against Newcastle, where they fought back in the fourth quarter, but not quite enough, and Eagles went on to the final, and then the game here against Surrey in the semi-final of the Cup. The other one was the trophy, obviously, and Surrey with Neda Sholovinskas going wild in the fourth quarter, saw it home, and today, well, you thought for a minute it might not be their day again, but they found a way, they scrapped, and they fought, and they wouldn't be denied. They just kept on going, and Jalen Hunter with some massive plays in the final overtime, and we can get some reaction. Our MVP is with Ambro.
You come here before 3 o'clock today, you were 10 points down, a large mountain to climb against Sheffield Sharks, arguably one of the best teams in the league. You come out victorious here by 10. Give us your initial thoughts.
Oh man, it's been a rough 48 hours after that 10-point loss. We definitely felt like we left a lot of opportunities on the table, offensively and defensively. So today we just wanted to come out here and really just give it our all, not have any regrets. Obviously just play the first 3 quarters, especially like a regular game, and then the fourth quarter see what we can do. We had to play 5 extra minutes, but it's all good. We got it done.
Well, performance from yourself, 24 points, 4 assists, 4 steals. You were impactful on both ends of the floor. Just give us your initial thoughts on how you performed and how you're feeling right now.
Leaving it all out there. Prayer. It's Mother's Day today. Mama, I love you so much. Just having support like that in my life like that, I just wanted to put on a good performance for them.
Well, the other game's going on right now, so you're not going to know who you're going to play, but you're going to be playing at the O2 Arena, an incredible venue. I've played there myself before as well. You guys have carved yourself an excellent opportunity. Hey, all the best and good luck for the final.
Thank you so much. Go Riders. Let's go. Let's go.
There is that thing of when there is no tomorrow, it provides some level of motivation that is almost undescribable, really. And wow, what this was the one for me. That was the dagger, that second 3 in overtime, and he basically had the whole ball for the whole of the extra 5 minutes of the extra period, and just an incredible effort from him to see his team over the line, and you can see what it meant to him and to his team, and just a really, really great performance. And you can see Rob Pavanostro getting the hugs all around, and well, we can hear from him now. He's without.
Coach, pre-game, down by 10. You've been asked questions for the last 2 days. What is it you could have done better? What is it you could have done differently? You said to your guys, pre-game, freedom. Play with an element of freedom. I think they did that today.
First of all, happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you, and I miss you. Yeah, I think the key to the game today was our attitude right after it. We knew we didn't play at our best. We came in here yesterday, we watched the film, and we knew we could play much better, especially on defense. We knew the shots would fall in here, so the message was go for it, man. Just go for it and don't think about it, and they did a hell of a job. I'm so proud of these guys, and I said to them in the huddle after the game, we deserve to be in this final this year. We came up short a couple times, but this group kept plugging away, and now we're going back to the O2.
There seemed to be a mental maturity here today from your team. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well in regulation, but you still had that healthy lead, a 10-point lead. What was the difference in this game as compared to game one?
I thought defensively we were way better, way more into the ball, aggressive, physicality. We saw the video. We knew what we had to do. They came out and delivered today. And then we came up with some big plays in overtime. Hunter was incredible with the big shots. I knew he was a big game player, but it was a total team effort today. Everybody that went out there played their part.
Yeah, exactly it. And can you comment on a couple of our big performances today? Who do you think played well for you guys, and who were the influential players here for you today?
Boy, I haven't even looked at a stat sheet or anything yet. I thought Johnson came up some really big plays. He's played great in the second half of the season. Obviously, Jackson was Jackson. Thompson's defense was really tough. But overall, it was a real collective effort, especially on defense. You may think you got to come into these games and score a ton of points and everything. Yeah, you got to score. But the most important thing we said today was defense, and they delivered.
I mean, look, you conceded 85 points in game one, just 77 points and an overtime period here today. So defensively, much improved here. You now look to the forward. You've made it. You made it to the O2 Arena, the final. It's something you've done many times before. But the way that you were able to celebrate with your team, this has been one of those long seasons for you. And the team just kept going, and it deserves its finalist.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the guys said today in the locker room, we don't want to go home yet. We want to stay. We want to keep going. And, yeah, I just told them now, the O2 is awesome. It's going to be something they'll remember for their whole careers. We can't wait to get there. And, again, shout out today to our fans. When I left the building in Sheffield the other night, the interview I did, I said the fans got to be ready to make some noise. And this was probably the best atmosphere we had in here in a long, long time. So salute to the fans. We'll see you at the O2.
No one ever wants to go home when the sun's out in Leicester, Rob. Me and you are still here.
It's going to be a good week. I can't wait to get down there. Thanks so much.
Congratulations. All the best.
Well, he's been there many a time, but it still tastes as sweet. It's a beautiful place to go, and maybe it will be Newcastle Eagles that Leicester are playing, because the Eagles are leading by 11 in that one. They already have a 6-point advantage on the aggregate, so 17. That would be a massive turn up if the sure-handed Newcastle Eagles could knock London out over 2 games. That would be an incredible achievement. That game is live now on DAZN if you want to flip over, but make sure you join us next week for the playoff final. We know Oakland's and Sheffield Hatters are going to go head-to-head. We know the Leicester Riders are going to be there. Who they will face, we'll find out in the next couple of hours. But for Amro, I'm Daniel Routledge. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.
Where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.